I'm at a point now where, we've created processes and systems and they work, right? They drive the results. And what I'm trying to do now, I've started it, but I haven't completed it yet. And it's a long road for me because I'm so attached to the business, is how do I remove myself from a lot of the nitty gritty, a lot of the stuff that is important, but doesn't require me at the helm and is 100% teachable. Right. So one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is essentially remove myself from these tasks, from parts of fulfillment, parts of delivery, so I can focus more on sales and marketing, on growth. Right. Great things that you're doing right now. Right. Just like this call. And it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been procrastinating, partly because I'm nervous, partly because I'm scared. It's an unknown for me. But I realize that you need to lean into these fears because that's where you usually get the best results.
All right, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to season 4 of Legacy's Journey, where we talk about creating what outlives you. I'm your host, Cameron Williams, owner of Kinley Consulting, where we focus on strategic financial growth for marketing agencies so that they can live the dream life they deserve and not be a slave to their business through CFO services and consulting. Now, we took a little break because tax season got really crazy. We, in a good way, we had to help a lot of people. Clients are always going to be first to us. But, this is season 4. So I had to kind of, how are we going to do something different? And so our theme for season 4 is simple. People who bought businesses, people who have sold businesses, or people who are scaling in a very unique way and just doing great business overall. So I had to put out my feelers, right? I've been increasing my network. And so there's this group I'm in, shout out to Four Rooms. And I was like, y'all, we're coming back with season 4. I need some special people. And this guy in particular was like, I'll take you up on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not going to say his last name because I don't believe in messing up people's names because I just feel like that's bad. But Dimitri L is in the building. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, it's going good, Cameron. Appreciate you having me on board.
He's already grinning because we had so many technical difficulties before we hit this button. So he's probably laughing at me, but it's okay. At least he's having a good time. All right. So let's jump into it. So first off, tell the people you, company name, when did you start, just a little bit of your story so we have some context for what you've done and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Dimitri. I run a business called Ecom Risk Heroes. We basically help 7-figure brands make more sales by building smarter payment systems. We essentially try to make them make every sale as possible, reduce their declines, pay less in fees. So we're on the revenue generation and on the cost cutting side as well. We marry those two together.
All right. So how long have you been in the game? Like what year is this? Is this year 10, year 3?
Yeah, good question. So I've been in the payment processing or internet marketing space almost 12 years now, but my business is fairly new. It's only been around for the last 4 years. So
Okay.
I actually started shortly after my daughter was born and COVID hit. So I figured, the world's going crazy. Might as well just spin up a business.
It definitely was crazy. I would say if you don't know what COVID is, but like it was crazy. Maybe you're listening to this like 30 years from now. Just know 2020 and 2021 were like epic fails. Anyway, all right, so let's keep with the journey. So we've been in the game 12 years, started the business when baby was born. Tell me what kind of that conversation was like because as a parent, I know that now it's one thing when you're just focused on you, right? Like you and Bay, all right, we can make do, but now you got the baby, and that's when you decided to launch the company. Kind of walk us through what that thought process was.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have much of a thought process at the time. But yeah, it was. I was having my daughter was on her way. This was my second child, and I had just been fired from a job that I absolutely hated. I was hired to do one thing, never ended up doing it. So it was sort of a blessing in disguise. And then somebody had reached out to me on LinkedIn who had heard about me and heard about the work that I had done in a previous job. And he's like, hey, we really like your help. Can you help us out? So I was like, sure. So I did some ad hoc consulting. And after getting that first client, I was like, wow, this is great. I actually helped someone. I solved a problem from A to Z, and they saw a tangible result. I go, this the feeling I got was just really great. Being able to service someone and doing it right. And literally that same evening, I quickly went online with my excitement and registered a business. But because I knew nothing about it, and because I was just so excited, I ended up registering a partnership instead of an incorporation on my end, which led to a whole bunch of costly accounting issues down the line, issues that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I had to pay to rectify. And yeah, that's basically how it started.
Okay, see, he done went into the numbers, so now we got to do it. Okay, so we see that a lot, right? Talking about different entities, pay structure. So let's go into that. So easy question to start it off. And guys, normally we focus a lot more on the people, their story, but we wanted to focus on because these are the hot buzzwords, right? Everybody's talking about AI in our industry, talking about the ability to acquire companies, the ability to buy companies, the ability to sell your company, and then just everybody, of course, has, 17 courses on how to scale. So, of course, we pick people who we know are falling in one of those three categories, but we also wanted them to come on so that they can share, like, hey, these are some of the things, if I had to redo it, don't do that. So let's start there. So, a money lesson you've had to learn the hard way that in these 4 years, you're like, man, had somebody told me that, that could have saved me a lot of heartache.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. And I credit this to what I call being an accidental entrepreneur, right? So when you're starting, everything is like you're penny pinching. You want to save as much as you can. You want to keep all that revenue going. But what you don't realize is you actually end up hurting yourself. It actually ends up costing you more time. I spent literally a day in my accountant's office having to unravel this mess, not knowing myself what the issue was, only afterwards. It cost me a whole lot of money as well to unravel it. So he had to do it. He had to bring in his team, right? So I had to pay for them as well. All of this literally, and he told me this is coming out of his mouth. He said, Dimitri, all you could have done, all you should have done is given me a call. And the worst part, Cameron, about this is that this accounting firm, they already run my personal income tax, right? They already do the personal side, right? So I don't know why. I could have just lifted up the phone, right? My accountant's named Louis and said, hey, Louis, I'm thinking of opening up a business. It's just me. Can you help me with it? And I should have paid whatever that figure was, because let me tell you, I paid 4 times that afterwards. Yeah.
All right. So today's lesson, utilize your help, right? So what he's talking about, we've seen this. I mean, we literally just got off a call right before this, where it's one thing to know how to make money, but the business side is just so many things we don't know, right? There's so many opportunities, loopholes we can take advantage of, something we can get done in 2 steps, not in 10. So I think that's a great lesson just right there, especially if you're on the newer side, or even if you're, because in his case, remember, 12 years of knowledge. So it's not even that he was newer, it's just I didn't know how to navigate the space. So thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes it's like, I shouldn't be struggling with this, or like, I should have, we even hear that, Cam,
Yep.
I know it should be better than this, or I know it shouldn't be. We don't know, right? Until we
Exactly.
start getting in these rooms with other people, and then they start helping us and things like that. So thank you for that. All right, here's another easy one. 12 months from now, what's one huge win you'd love to be celebrating, and what do you think is stopping you or slowing you from getting
Yeah, no, great question. Great question. It's actually on my list now where is basically educating a mass market. So one thing that I've done, right, and a lot of people do this in the beginning, is we start to solve one specific core problem, and usually one specific core problem is attracted to a specific set of audience, right? And when you're testing out those waters, and you do it well, you do it right, you're generating revenue, you're generating good results, good clients, and you have that run rate. The next logical thing is, okay, well, how do I help a larger market? I want to help more people, right? And how do I do that, right? So it's this sort of this mass market selling. And one of the things that I'm doing now is actually I just created a YouTube channel, right? And I want to spread that content. I want to spread that. Here's how you can do it, right? And this is for a much larger, wider audience, right? You don't necessarily need to be making 7, 8 figures, right? This is for people making 4, 5, 6 figures a year, right? And one of these things is what I'm doing is going to be adding all of these content driven, but really value driven videos on how do you get there, what to avoid, what to do better, what mistakes not to do, because I did most of them already.
Okay, so focusing on that content, I like that. Educating the people, giving value. Okay, let's go this route because, like you said, 12 years of experience, 4 years on your own now. Looking back, what's a move that you made that you think like changed the game for you? Like when you did this one thing, like I don't know what happened, but we just took off.
Yeah. So if I look at it from like I was looking from an investment perspective, right? I'm either going to invest my time, I'm either going to invest my money, but ideally you're doing a bit of both, right? So I was so obsessed, I would say in the beginning with, figuring out, okay, well, how much money am I making? How many clients do I need? Right. And then trying to kind of hold on to that, right. By giving good value, by, just outperforming. And then I realized, right, I'm not necessarily, growing that way. And, rather than necessarily pay myself a certain salary, or a bonus or whatever structure you do it in your business, right? I realized that I needed help from a larger community, from people who know what I don't know, right? And to this date, by far, the best investment I ever did was coaching, right? Going into getting a coach, being involved in a community of other entrepreneurs who have been there, done that, attained the goals that I want to attain, made the mistakes, right? So I can avoid them. So, as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you don't know. And if you're a solopreneur or you started off like myself, there's a lot that you really don't know, right? And for me, at least for me, I speak for myself, obviously, getting a coach and being part of a community where, we have quarterly get-togethers, it's just been next level for myself as an individual and for my business.
Okay, so y'all heard it. See, don't just take my word for it. He told you. He told you. All right, here we go. If I handed you a magic wand, this is one of our newer questions, so I'm super interested. If I gave you a magic wand and you can fix one thing in your agency and company today, what are you fixing? What are you waving and making it just be fixed?
Yeah, great question. Please give me that magic wand, by the way, after this call. What I'd like to do, I'm at a point now where, we've created processes and systems and they work, right? They drive the results. And what I'm trying to do now, I've started it, but I haven't completed it yet. And it's a long road for me because I'm so attached to the business, is how do I remove myself from a lot of the nitty gritty, a lot of the stuff that is important, but doesn't require me at the helm and is 100% teachable, right? So one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is essentially remove myself from these tasks, from parts of fulfillment, parts of delivery, so I can focus more on sales and marketing, on growth, right? Great things that you're doing right now, right? Just like this call. And it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been procrastinating, partly because I'm nervous, partly because I'm scared. It's an unknown for me, but I realize that you need to lean into these fears because that's where you usually get the best results.
Ooh. Lean into these fears because that's where you get the best results. He said it, dropping bombs. Okay, I like that. And I think that's super normal too, by the way, because that's most of us, right? Like, hey, I don't want the business to run around just me, the person as the owner. I want to be able to take off and everything runs or sales still get made, etc. So I love that. All right, here we go. I love this question, by the way. What's something you believed about the business early on that you've had to completely unlearn?
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Um, I think I'm gonna tie it back to that previous question. In the beginning, it was just me, right? I said, okay, well, I have the knowledge, right? People are paying me to do this work. People are paying me to give them the results. And then as I slowly started hiring in my team and then slowly started teaching people how to do that, I realized that, to my naivete, if anything, to say the least, is that people don't hire you necessarily. They just hire an entity to give them a result. And they don't care if it's you, a machine, or a whole team behind you, right? All they want is the results, right? And you hear people saying that, but then when you experience it, it's like, huh, okay, I have to rewire my thinking, because at the end of the day, right, all people care about it is just getting the results. They don't really care who's delivering it, right? As long as it's getting done.
That's that's facts. If it's you, great, but like we can find somebody else. All right, that's a good one. All right, I'm just thinking about that one because that's so good. Like, let's stay on this one. I wanted to ask another question, but let's stay here. Okay, so to your point, I understand that people just want a result. And to your point, we know we got AI coming, automations. We don't know exactly what it'll look like. We just know it gets better. So, to your point, how do you think you help yourself to stand out or stand apart versus, you know how people would do? Oh man, I could just go get some type of AI and it'll automatically do it. How are you finding in today's climate and changes that you're able to help yourself stand out and still, give that great service?
Excellent. Yeah, that's a really great question. I actually just wrote about a Facebook post literally like 15 minutes before we got on our call. Um, I really believe, I'm a big believer in, those of us who have a business, right? It's both a privilege to serve people, right? But it's also a responsibility, right? So your responsibility to your clients is obviously to continue to deliver, right? So, what I tell other business owners, or even people in my team, is that whatever we do, whatever core offer that we do, in our case, it's helping clients make more sales through payment and processing, is that we own the entire ecosystem of the problem, top to bottom, right? So we're not just delivering on that core problem, right, that the client may have, but we've been in here long enough to understand that when you solve an issue, it usually opens up the door to something else, other problems. And you know these. The client may not necessarily know them, but you know these. So we get ahead of that and we try to provide solutions to all of these issues, right? We'll bring them up way before they actually, come knocking on the door. And the majority of these business owners, are thankful for it, right? Because they didn't, they hadn't realized, because they've never been there, right? But as a service provider, you've done this. It's like copy and paste over and over again. But when you can own that entire process, right, be able to deliver on that problem, on the multiple issues that come afterwards, be able to provide clarity, right? Clarity could be through showing them financials, showing them numbers, showing them a before and after picture, right? Helping their team through either, automations, everything and anything, and owning that issue top to bottom. I find, obviously, with the help of AI, right? That's both for yourself as an entrepreneur, but also for the business that you provide your clients. I mean, I feel like there's no substitute for that.
I feel that. I feel that. And I like how you're not running away from AI or automations. You're trying to figure out how can we pair that to help us to give even more value. Amazing. Okay. What's one habit or routine that you feel has made the biggest difference today in how you show up as a business owner, whether that's like financial, like physical, mental, whatever?
Yeah. So I'm very big on. I'm a routine type of person. When I'm on a routine, I do my best work. I have my best version of myself showing up. When I'm not on a routine, I'm all over the place. Right? I'm reactive. I'm jumping from one thing to the next. It's getting a bit sloppy. It's getting a bit hectic. So one thing that I have to do, right, no matter what, is no matter where I am, whether I'm traveling, whether I'm halfway across the world, is I ensure that I spend 15 minutes every single morning with my team. And before I had a team, it was just myself doing this. I just go over what are the top 3 things I need to get done today. What are the top 3 things that are going to move the needle, right? So I always start off with the hardest stuff first. The stuff that, I'm going to be I know that by, 3 p.m. I'm going to be dragging my feet and, I'll probably end up doing the next day. Right? So I start off my day giving literally it helps me give myself a visual roadmap of what needs to be done, who's doing what issues are we facing. That way everyone has essentially their roles and goals to play throughout the rest of the day.
That is so good. And you know what? I'm going to confess live. I need to do that because I've literally tested. When I start the day doing that, what are the top 3 things I can knock out today that'll move me forward? I feel so accomplished by the end of the day versus when I don't do that. I'll tell my wife, man, I don't feel like I did nothing. And she'll be like, well, tell me, what did you do? And I'll name like 15 things. And I'm like, you don't understand it. Don't feel the same. So that is such a very productive key tip right there, y'all. I hope y'all wrote that down. Start the day. What are the 3 things I can do to move me forward and the business, and then attack those and then do the extra things. Don't just wake up, start freestyling.
Yeah.
Because then that's when you start staying in the email too long or being
That's right.
too much.
Yeah.
He's giving y'all the gold. I hope y'all are taking pictures, taking notes, screenshots, the whole 9. All right. Let's talk about Bay. Because we got 2 kids. First off, let's talk about balance. Because I find this to be something that everybody thinks through, works through, etc. So with you having younger kids, what is that like on a daily basis? Like, do we have some type of like weekly rhythms? How are you kind of keeping good boundaries in place? Because I know we all struggle with that, right? Because we're all trying to make more money for the kids, but then the kids trying to be kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so I have a young family. I have a 10-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. So and they're both let's just say active, to say the least. That's the nice way of putting it. So I feel like as an entrepreneur, you hear a lot of this work-life balance talk, and I could never get there or get to that idea of it. And then only maybe about a year or 2 ago, I realized that there's no such thing as a work-life balance, right? It's about sharing. It's literally about sharing, right? At least for me, that's what it is. So, I share my day with my family. Hey, what'd you do? Well, I spoke to Cameron today. He's a really great guy. Runs a really, successful podcast and great business. And, I try to keep a high level with them, right? But, the more they know about my life and what I'm doing in my work, right? It just helps them to open up as well, right? During dinner, or when we're driving to school or driving somewhere. One of the things that I try my best, but I'm going to admit it doesn't always happen, is so when I'm off the clock, right? Let's say it's that 5 p.m., 4:30 p.m., whatever sort of time I decide to kind of clock off, is I'll literally try to put my phone in a cupboard. Right, I'll put it in a cupboard. I'll close it. I'll close that cupboard. Hopefully, that cupboard's far away from me. Right, so when we're having dinner or I'm talking with the kids or with the family, they have my undivided attention. Right, and I find as an entrepreneur, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm in the shower and I'm washing, and this great idea comes to my head, and I have to write it down, and then I'm like, did I finish taking a shower? Did I wash my hair? I'm not sure. So, so then I go back in. But anyways, I try to be as present as possible, right? With my family, right, to understand what they're saying, especially kids. When they come from school, they're super excited. They want to tell you a million things about their day. So I try to be as present with them as possible. And for me, the best way to do that is to be as far away from any device as possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. I struggle on that because, to your point, like you said, your brain, it's not like when you're an employee where it's like, I'm off the clock.
Right. That's it.
Oh, snap. Did I respond to that Slack message? I think I typed it, but I didn't hit enter. Oh, crap. Did I tell my team about this other thing? Oh, I didn't do enough sales time. I was supposed to follow up. and it's so hard to turn that off. And like you said, you try not to be on the screen because you want
Yep.
to talk to them, but then it's like I got to make this money so we get everything we need. So yeah, man, I agree with you. I found even with me, like you said, when I just merged the two worlds instead of trying to fight so hard to keep them separate, it was a lot easier because, like you said, you're just incorporating into the day.
Hmm.
They get a better understanding of what's going on, etc. So that's amazing. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Last question before we wrap though. If you could go back in time to 18-year-old or 22-year-old you, knowing everything you know, you got like 30 seconds in the time travel machine. What would you go back and tell 18 or 22-year-old you?
Yeah. Oof. That's a good question. I would tell myself, find something that you're good at, not necessarily something that you love.
Hmm.
Become the best at that thing that you're good at, and you'll realize you'll gain a lot of happiness from that. Figure out a way for that thing, whatever it is, to help you get back all of your time and focus less on the revenue side, but more on the time side. Because at the end of the day, all we have is time, man.
Hmm. I like that. I didn't know where you was gonna go with that, but because I'm like, what? Don't do the thing you love, but I get it. Because if you're really good at it, you're gonna make the money, which will
Yep.
give you the freedom and the time to then go do the stuff you love.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. You got it. You got it. You know exactly where I'm going with that.
So, all right, y'all, you've heard it here. And this is somebody, again, we're not bringing you, y'all know this. Y'all have seen the level of people we bring here. These are people that, like we said, are either buying, selling, or doing this at a high level. So these are people that are coming on here to give you guys their insights, the things they're learning, how they're merging the blend, the family time versus the business, tips and tricks that they're using to help them separate things about money habits, money mindsets, things they've learned. What don't spend your money on this. Here's some productivity tips. Like that's what this is about. So thank you again for coming. Tell the people if they want to connect with you, if they want to reach out because maybe they got some payment issues. Where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Easiest way, obviously, is I'd say through my website. Ecomriskheroes.com. That's the best way to reach me. If you want, you can reach me directly at Dimitri at ecomriskheroes.com, or you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram.
And then you say you had something on socials too, right? With the educational courses.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is that going to be?
I'm gonna start that on YouTube. So I haven't done it yet, but I will be dropping it, sharing it through my Facebook and Instagram feed.
All right. So see, y'all already he gonna give it to you on the YouTube. Tell them the YouTube name so they can already be ready to hit the button, and we gonna hold you accountable. So that way, when the episode come out,
Yep.
what's the name of the YouTube channel?
Um, I'm still debating that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still debating that. I haven't. We have a couple of contenders. I haven't figured it out yet, but you'll definitely be the first to know.
We'll put it in the comments because by the time the episode drops, he'll probably.
Perfect.
All right, y'all. So you know how to get in touch with them. Go to the website. Tell them the website one more time.
Yeah, ecomriskheroes.com.
So if you need help with your payments, and I know as the accountant to a lot of people, some of y'all need help with them payments. You got the person right here on who to talk to. All right, with that being said, y'all, this is season 4. We're super excited to find more people like this that are going to bring you even more information on how to scale and grow your business, how to keep the balance while doing it, if that exists, and how to continue to just grow, sell, buy, and acquire companies. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.